Good day. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Douglas Harder, and in this topic we're going to discuss unit vectors. In this topic we will describe what a unit vector is, we'll look at some examples, we will describe two vectors that are together named the canonical basis, and we'll look at a few special cases. One important classes of two-dimensional vectors are all those vectors that have a 2 norm equal to 1. Because their 2 norm is equal to 1, or their length is equal to 1, we call these unit vectors. In R2, or in 2 dimensions, these points all fall on a circle of radius 1 around the 0 vector. The more useful unit vectors include these 4 vectors that appear at the intersections of the 2 axes and the unit circle. 2 of them specifically are denoted by I cap, which is 1, 0, and j cap, which is 0, 1. Now, given a vector u equals ab, we can calculate that distance. It's just the square root of a squared plus b squared. Now, we could call this the length of the vector, however, we will call it the 2 norm of that vector. Now, the 2 norm refers to the squaring, not to the fact that it's a 2-dimensional vector. If I was just simply giving you a vector v, we would write down its norm as the first entry of v squared plus the second entry of v squared, all square rooted. Here are 3 more examples of unit vectors, and you'll notice that if you were to swap the entries, such as 4/5, 3/5, it would still continue to remain a unit vector. Similarly, if you were to negate any of the entries, the result is still a unit vector. Now, the following is close to a unit vector, but not exactly a unit vector because the 2 norm is not exactly equal to 1. However, in engineering, we are usually using some sort of numerical software, and thus almost none of the vectors we will use will actually be unit vectors. Note that the vector 1, 1 is not a unit vector. This is because 1 squared plus 1 squared is equal to the square root of 2, and that is not equal to 1. So in this topic, I've introduced the concept of a unit vector for 2-dimensional vectors. This is a vector where the 2 norm is equal to 1. All such vectors lie on the unit circle. They are denoted with a cap above their names, and the canonical basis is formed by the 2 vectors I cap and j cap. Here are some references, acknowledgements, the colophon, and a disclaimer. Cheers!